Hey there everyone, welcome to Violet's Dream Tarot. Today we're doing something a little bit different, so this isn't a pick a card reading. We will be looking at tarot cards, but we're not actually picking a card. We're going to look at ideas for what you can do at home based on the Major Arcana. And we'll be looking at, I've got 3 different decks of tarot cards here with me in Russia at the moment. So we'll be looking at the illustrations on each of those decks for the Major Arcana cards and discussing what we can do at home based on what these cards can tell us. So thank you to everyone who participated in the poll that I put out about this reading, because you know, I wanted to ask your permission to do this video really, because I've been pretty disappointed by the massive superfluous nature of all of the videos and articles that have been made discussing recent events on a certain topic, and I just feel like it's been really overloading people and creating panic and worry, and that's not what I want to do at all. I don't want to add to those videos at all. I just want to give you some practical suggestions as to what you can do if you've run out of ideas. If you work from home, or if you are ill or are self-isolating, or you know, you have long-term health problems and you just spend a lot of time at home and you kind of want to make your life a bit more varied when you're spending all of this time indoors. So hopefully it will help some of you come up with some new ideas if you haven't thought of many yourself, or if you've run out of ideas for what to do. So let's just get into it. We're going to look at each Major Arcana card and come up with ideas what they could suggest to us to do while we are at home. So our first card is of course the Fool. So we've got Durak, Blazen, and the Dreamer. That's what they're called in each of my decks. So this is the Tarot of the Gnome deck. This is the Good Tarot, Tarot Dobra in Czech, and this is Angel Tarot cards, which I generally use pretty much all the time because they were the first deck that I ever got, and I really love them and trust them and go back to them all the time. So, the Fool. The Fool energy is the beginning of something. It's this feeling of kind of childlike excitement, being ready for something, not having a lot of self-awareness perhaps. So what the Fool tells us to do if we're stuck at home is to try something new. So if there's something that you've maybe wanted to try, something you've wanted to learn how to do, maybe something to do with your hands like knitting or sewing, drawing, painting, could be something bodily like yoga. It could be something like a new language, for example, or a new skill, learning to code, etc. Getting better at maths. Look online for different courses, or if you can get books delivered, look into those that could teach you how to do these things, and give something new a try, give it a go. Whatever it is, this is just saying, take a leap of faith, jump right in. Don't worry, don't think that you won't be able to do it. Just give it a try like children do. They try everything out, even if they maybe don't think they can do it, they give it all a try, because who knows what's going to come of it. And also with the Fool, I get the feeling of like watching trash TV, like watching daytime television or reality TV, just stuff that is not very high style in any way, but is just a bit of light entertainment. Also watching cartoons, you know, things that might be considered as being just for children, but things that we can still completely happily enjoy as adults. So cartoons, maybe reading comic books as well. Yeah, also playing with children if you have any children. Definitely making up imaginative games for them. That's what the Fool energy says. And also spending time with pets. There's a little dog here. So sweet. Playing with pets. It's rolling around on the floor, being totally silly. that's what I get from the Fool card. So then our next card is the Magician, and here it's Sabojnik, which is actually the shoemaker, Mag, and the Magician. So Magician usually shows an older man who's like a wizard, and it's all about manifestation. What the Magician says is that you already have all of the skills that you need to bring something about. You already have all of the resources that you need to bring something about. So what I get from the Magician is, do you have, for example, a list of books that you know, if you bought some books or some movies, or some games, you know, if you bought them on Steam or something, and you've been putting them off because you haven't had time to read them or watch them or play them, those kinds of things, then give that a try now. You can get through all of the things that you've backed up and just see this as an opportunity to do the things that you've been meaning to do but have procrastinated from doing. Also, if you've got food in your cupboards that you would never normally use, bring it out and give it a try. Cook it. If you've got like a recipe that you've had written down for a while or on a Pinterest board or something for a long time, give it a go. Now is the perfect chance to give it a go. While you've got time on your hands, why not give it a go? Also, the Magician really talks about manifestation. See, here he's casting the spell. We have no idea what he's doing, but there's this amazing, powerful electrical energy coming from it. So this is talking about manifesting your dreams. So whatever it is that you really want from life, this is saying go into meditation, use law of attraction to manifest it into your life. Write down what you want, create vision boards, create Pinterest boards of the life that you want to lead, or with pictures that symbolize you achieving a certain goal. Make those things and get on with manifestation, because now you've got all of this time to focus your mind on manifesting what you truly want. It's this beautiful electrical energy of getting things done. And the shoemaker here also makes me think of mending things. So if there are things that you have that, you know, maybe have holes in them, or have been damaged in some way, maybe try and fix them. You know, that shirt that you got a hole in and you just threw it in the back of the drawer because you didn't have time to deal with it, bring it out and give it a go. Try and stitch it back up. It's this beautiful mending energy. But the Magician is definitely about creating something new, so bringing your goals towards you. It's an amazing energy. I really love it. And if you are into casting spells, then giving that a go over this period of time would also be indicated by the Magician, you know, actual magic. If that's something that interests you, maybe give that a try. Maybe you've never done it before and it's a new thing for you. Give it a try. So then we have the High Priestess. And in this gnome deck, she's called Papiesa, which is like popess, like a female pope. Veleknieszka, and the High Priestess here. This is beautiful feminine energy. It's very spiritual energy. What the High Priestess would tell us to do is to go within, to listen to our inner voice, and to really deepen our connection with spirit, with the universe, with our higher guidance, with God. So it would represent praying, if that's something that you do or something that you would like to do more of, or if you keep telling yourself that you should meditate and you keep putting it off or you don't do it as often as you like to, the High Priestess says, now is your chance to do that. Now is your chance to discover inner truths. So what I would say is, if you have space to do this, make a small corner of a room into your sacred space. Because the High Priestess is all about sacred space, these amazing, mysterious places. She's got like some kind of, there's like big pillars behind her. It's very mysterious, and making that sacred space will allow you to separate your conscious mind and all of your everyday issues and worries from this spiritual experience. So if you put like a few cushions down in the corner of a room, maybe space for a candle or something, obviously where you're not going to knock it over, that kind of thing. If you want to make a small altar, you can. Just have this space that is separate from everywhere else that you can go to and just sit quietly, meditate, visualize things, pray. And that's going to help you strengthen your connection to spirit and also kind of deepen your understanding of who you are. Because something that meditation really brings out in us is a deeper understanding of ourselves. And in this picture, she's pointing to this sacred text so that we understand what she's pointing to. Like she's telling us a secret, she's revealing it to us, and we have to kind of come to this recognition. So this is all about spiritual pursuits. And for me also, this would mean if you are interested in tarot cards, why not buy yourself a deck, get it delivered to your house, and you can learn how to use the tarot cards. There are lots of things online that can tell you about how to use them, of course, and every deck should come with a guidebook. I would recommend this deck if you're starting out. It's very, very good. But also, I don't know, maybe in the future I could make a video with meanings for each of the cards. I guess I could do that if people would be interested in that. So that's the High Priestess. And then we have the beautiful Empress. So here she is, Imperatrica, Tsisarovna, the Empress. So she has a consistent name in all of these decks. And this is beautiful, beautiful energy. This is my birth card. And I know a few of you have wanted me to do a video about birth cards. I have added that to my list, so don't worry, that will come in the future. Because everyone has a zodiac card that represents their zodiac sign, but they also have a birth card that is calculated from their date of birth. And I will make a video about how to find out your birth card and what it means for you. So don't worry, that is coming as well. Now the Empress is beautiful, beautiful energy. It's very feminine energy again, but this is about creativity. So if you're a creative person, you know, if you are, for example, a writer and you always get distracted because you've got work and you've got social events and other things, well, now is the time. There are no more distractions. You cannot use the excuse that you are being distracted anymore. Write, if you're a writer, paint, make music, choreograph dances, you know, play music if you're learning how to use an instrument. Just do whatever it is that you are creatively called to do. This is your time of self-expression, your time of expansion and abundance. This Empress is surrounded by all of these animals in this beautiful forest. This Empress has this wheat sheaf that she's holding on to, beautiful plants growing out of her that represent her creative process. And this Empress is ready to take on the world. She is ready to take on anything. And what I love is that on her shield there is this beautiful butterfly representing the unfolding of the creative process, the transformation that we go through when we are creating something. The Empress is also about self-care, so taking care of you. If you, for example, enjoy having a nice bath, why not order in some bath bombs and just do that little indulgent thing for yourself? I would also say if you're spending a lot of time at home, make sure that every day you're getting up, having a shower, doing your hair, putting your makeup on, getting dressed, etc., so that you still feel like a functioning member of the human race. Like, that is very important. Always make sure that you are dressed as though you're ready to do something, because if you are just walking around in your pajamas all day, your hair's a mess, you've not even dared to look in the mirror because you've not done anything at all, that is going to slow your productivity down, and it's just going to make you feel bad mentally because you're not going to feel like you're getting anything done. So definitely take care of yourself, keep these little rituals, keep up your skincare ritual, etc. Pamper yourself, order in some new makeup, for example, and try out some new makeup, a new way of doing your makeup or a new way of doing your hair. That's what this is about. It's all about experimenting creatively. And it can also represent the mother. So if you are a mother, obviously doing lovely motherly things like baking with your children, etc. Or it could represent your own mother, so making sure that you're keeping in contact with your mother or healing. If there are certain things about your mother that you need to heal that have affected you in some way, and getting on with that as well. So that is the Empress. Lots of things from the Empress, because the Empress is just such a creative and expansive card. And then we have the Emperor, so Imperator here, Caesar, the Emperor. So he has a consistent name here as well. So the Emperor, whereas the Empress is about creating new things through our own abundance and creativity and imagination, the Emperor is about working with what we already have and organizing what we already have. So you will notice that in a lot of Emperor cards, he is wearing metal in some way. Here he has metal shoes like the traditional Emperor in Tarot does. Here he has these metal gloves on. And here he has this metal armband. And this represents his restrictive nature. So he's not able to grow in the way that the Empress does, where she creates new life from her own body. In many ways, he is very restricted to what he already has. So with the Emperor, I would say reorganize your house. So if you've got areas of your house that need to be tidied up, deal with that. You know, organize your wardrobe, color coordinate it if you want to. Make it so that it's easier for you to use and prettier for you to use. If you like Marie Kondo, try out her KonMari method. You know, clear out things that you don't need anymore. Organize your fridge or your cupboards so that they're easier to use and you're not rummaging around looking for things constantly, and it's always at the back or underneath a load of other things that's piled precariously on top of each other. Organize your bookshelves, your DVD collection, etc. This is about getting organized and being like a leader of what you already have. To me, the Emperor is also about structuring your life as well, so making plans for the future, for what you want to achieve, making those goals. And the Emperor is, of course, also the masculine energy, so this could represent your father or your partner. So if there are issues that need to be healed there, or if you need to stay in contact with this person more, then focusing on that as well. So that's the beautiful Emperor card. It's all about taking charge, being this strong person who takes control of what they have, what they own, what they govern over. And then we have the Hierophant. So here he's called Papa, which is the Pope. This is Hierophant. And here it's called Unity. So the Hierophant is all about religion. And whereas the High Priestess is about religion in the sense of spirituality, so that individual relationship with the divine, the Hierophant is about the organized aspect of religion. It's about institutions, so it can represent big companies or universities, community centers, these kind of big organizations and institutions. Can often represent the institution of marriage as well. It's also about being very committed. So the Hierophant, to me, when we're talking about what we're doing in the house, talks about exploring religion. If that's something that calls to you, it talks about reading sacred texts and kind of learning that organized aspect of religion rather than the the individual aspect, which is represented by the High Priestess. So it's kind of experimenting with religion. If you personally have been drawn to actually joining or subscribing to a certain religion or lifestyle, now would be the time to actually look into doing that and look at all the different options and feel whichever one speaks to you, because the Hierophant is also about doing the right thing and wanting to do the right thing by your own moral code. And as I said, it's also about universities, so enrolling in a course online could also be helpful if you're feeling drawn to this Hierophant energy. There are lots of courses that you can do online and masterclasses, etc. You could also do them via Skype, or it could be the kind of classes where you just download the videos and watch them. I'm sure there's plenty of that stuff on YouTube as well as elsewhere on the web. So if there's something new that you want to learn, I don't know why I'm hearing Kabbalah there. I know that there are Kabbalah courses online, if that's something that you're interested in. It is something that I'm interested in, but I don't know. At the moment, I do not have the time for that because I'm learning so much stuff, but hopefully in the future, I'll be able to do that. Hopefully not too far in the future. I've studied that a little bit myself because it's very connected to the Tarot, but I would like to really go deeper into that personally. And this can also be about learning Tarot and learning other practices such as yoga, learning how to meditate, for example. I know a lot of people find that quite difficult, to actually find that quiet space within you where there's no thoughts. So there are plenty of courses for that online as well. So this to me is like getting in touch with some kind of institution and enrolling yourself in something that is structured, something that has a kind of course feeling to it. It's also about communities, so reaching out to online communities, joining, for example, Facebook groups, online newsletters to get delivered to your email address. These things. Actually, I'm also, right, this is really random, and I would never have normally said this if I just picked up the Hierophant card, but now I'm also feeling like subscription boxes. Don't know why that is coming to me, but a subscription box is basically, if you have never heard of that before, it's something that you can find online. You can type in subscription box and like whatever you want, so like books or flowers, for example, merchandise for a particular thing. There are, for example, the subscription boxes from other countries where they send you like Japanese products or Japanese candy or Korean cosmetics, that kind of thing. And you can sign up to that. It's usually once a month. Sometimes it's less frequently, sometimes it's more frequently. So you could consider signing up to something regular like that, because the Hierophant has this really organized feeling about it. So that was a very random channeled message that just came to me. So that is the Hierophant. So then we have the Lovers. So it's called Влюбленные here, the Lovers. Here it's called Láska, which is just love. And the Lovers here. And this picture always confuses me, because when I first started looking through this deck, I thought this was the Strength card because of the lion and the woman. But no, it's not. It's love. So that was quite confusing. So love, the Lovers, it's obviously about keeping in touch with those you love. So whether that's an actual romantic relationship or looking for that maybe online, it's also about your best friends, the people you really care about, your closest family, the people you truly do love, whether that's in a romantic way or not. Keeping in touch with those people, even if it's not through phone calls or actual messages, just tag them in something that you see online. Let them know that you are thinking of them. Stay in touch that way. This is also about doing what you love and practicing self-love. So whatever you feel called to do, whatever your favorite hobby is, just keep doing that, because it's really important when you're spending a lot of time at home and you might feel isolated because you're not speaking to other people very often, to do what you really enjoy doing and not lose sight of that, not forget about that. Keep doing your regular regimes if you have certain regimes, certain habits that you like to do each day, your routines. Also, the Lovers is about health. So taking care of your health, eating well, making sure that you get some exercise every day. So obviously if you can't leave the house at all, that can be tricky, especially if you have mobility issues, disabilities, etc., long-term health condition. But I'm sure there are small things that you can do, just making sure that you're walking around your flat or your house a lot, getting yourself moving a little bit. If there are some stretches you can do, for example, or some small exercises if you have enough space to do that. You really only need kind of the space that it would take to lay out a yoga mat. Just make sure that you're not going to be able to knock anything over when you're doing certain things. And again, you can find lots of workouts online, for example, but for me the Lovers would be more about things like Tai Chi, like just getting your body moving in a way that's healthy, gets the circulation flowing, etc., gets all of that blood moving around your heart. Really lovely feeling. And also I would say meditating on love. So, you know, meditating to bring love into your life, but also meditating to send love out into the world, because I think we need a lot of it right now. Yesterday I started meditating on healing for the world, sending out lots of healing energy to the world, just to do my own small bit in trying to aid this situation a little bit. So you could do that if you feel called to do that. I didn't have a particular thing that I listened to, but I just did that by myself, and I found that really personally left me feeling quite energized. So that could be something that you look into as well. So that's the Lovers. Then next we have the Chariot. So here it's called Kolesnica, which is the Chariot, Vuz, and the Chariot. So the Chariot to me is all about career in general, because it's about reaching a certain milestone. It's about your own goals, feeling really pleased with what you've achieved, feeling like, you know, that great feeling when other people come up to you and they're like, oh, hey, I saw what you did and I really just want to say that was amazing. That's what the Chariot is about. It's about self-discipline. It's about working hard to achieve something. So if you have certain goals, maybe at work or just in general, if you have certain things you want to achieve, don't let yourself lose sight of them now. Now is the perfect time to keep working at them. And you may be like, oh, well, I need to go outside in order to do this. Or I need to go to a certain place in order to do this. But I'm sure there are other things you can do that keep you focused on this goal. Maybe you can do reading about it so that you can better your technique, or you know more about it, or think about how you want to get to a certain point in the future. So think past your current goals. Where are you going? What is it that you want to achieve? That's what the Chariot talks about, is about achievement. And because it's about self-discipline, I'm also wondering if some of you are trying to, for example, lose weight or improve your diet a little bit. So if you're worried that because you're not able to get out and about, you won't lose any more weight, the Chariot is about really having self-discipline when it comes to eating healthily, when it comes to continuing your physical practice while you're inside. So making sure that you can still do some exercises. For example, you can learn to do a push-up by watching YouTube videos. If you can't do that, practice it. You don't have to do a lot of different things. If you keep, say, 1, 2, or 3 things, and you just keep practicing that, you will eventually get really good at it. And that's what you need to try and do. Because the Chariot talks about being pulled in 2 directions, because you see here, not with this one, with the bunnies, but these 2, the white horse is looking in one direction and the black horse is looking in another direction. And what that represents is your head and your heart, or, you know, just general feeling pulled in two different ways. Your head is telling you, for example, if you are trying to lose weight, I'm just going to use that as an example. Oh, I know that I need to eat healthily today and try and move around a bit because then I'll lose weight. And then the black horse is thinking, yeah, but that cake looks amazing. That's what these cards are saying. And I'm not telling you not to have the cake, because, you know, we need to really pamper ourselves in this time, take care of ourselves, but it's saying just be sensible, you know the calorie count of what you're consuming and know how much you burn on an average day. I know I'm just using this example, I'm sorry if this doesn't relate to you, but it's about having the self-discipline to achieve what you want to achieve. So if you've got a particular goal in mind, make sure that you're doing a little bit towards it every day. Stick at it every day and you will eventually get to where you want to go. And pull yourself away from distractions or negative thinking. So next we have the Justice card, and the Justice card, Pravosudie, Spravedlnost, and Justice, is all about making important decisions. So if you have, if you're in a situation where you've got a job offer, or you're considering moving, etc., some kind of big decision in your life, this is saying don't put it off. Now is the perfect time to really make the decision, really make a list of all the pros and cons, balance them against each other and work out whether you're going to accept it or not, whether you're going to make the big move or not. For example, if you've got to make decisions about relationships, for example, if you're in a relationship and you're not sure if you want to stay in it, or if there are certain people that you are considering setting down really firm boundaries with, or going no contact or low contact with, this is your time to figure out how you're going to do that, and whether in fact it's right for you to do that. Justice is also about the legal system, of course, so if you're interested in this, consider watching shows like Law and Order, consider watching things that are like true crime documentaries if that's something that you enjoy, or are unsure if you'd like that but you just want to give it a try. Consider doing that. There are lots to be found on YouTube as well as just online in general. If you have Netflix, for example, I'm sure there are plenty of things like that for you to watch on there. So that's Justice. I'm not really getting too much else with Justice because Justice is very simple, actually. The truth and what is right is often very plain and simple. It's just not always that simple to actually bring it about. But objectively, it's a lot more simple than a lot of things. So then we've got the Hermit. So it's called here Otšelník, Poustevník, and the Hermit. So they've all got the same names. I love this card. I really love this like little gnome with his really long beard. And the Hermit in many ways is very similar to the High Priestess with the Hierophant combined, because it's about going within, it's about thinking, meditating, etc., coming to great realizations about things without needing to listen to other people. And obviously we're all in hermit mode right now, and for some people that might be their life in general if they have anxiety that really affects their ability to go out and make friendships in real life that's not online. People who have agoraphobia, people who have long-term health conditions or disabilities, etc. That's their life for them. And what I really feel that this is teaching us, this whole situation in this hermit way, because the hermit is always learning, as wise as he is, he goes deep within to learn more. It's teaching us to have more understanding and compassion for people who live this every day of their lives. And I really hope that as a society, we can move forward and have more understanding for people who are very isolated. For example, older people as well who don't have relatives living nearby who perhaps aren't very mobile and can't go outside very often, this will hopefully raise awareness of the fact that they need people to go and visit them and people to engage with them in their everyday lives. And I think that's something that is very beautiful and positive to come out of this, because we are all learning and growing as a society, deepening this understanding, and that's what the Hermit is all about. The Hermit can also be about being a mentor to someone else. So if you have certain knowledge about a particular area, and you know someone who wants to learn about that, maybe a friend or a friend's child, for example, you could do Skype lessons where you tutor them or mentor them or be like a life coach or something. It's also about seeking out a mentor, someone who can give you more knowledge on a subject. So again, if you want to find a teacher online for something, this would more be like finding someone who teaches you something rather than just enrolling in a standard online course where you're downloading videos. So it's more like finding a person who's more experienced than you. Another option would be to offer lessons online to people you don't know. So if you sign up for one of those tutoring websites and offer to give Skype lessons, etc., to people. I'm also hearing writing feedback. So if you're someone who reads a lot or you are a writer in yourself, maybe maybe post on social media or see if there's a website where you can offer this. Offer to read so much of someone's writing, like maybe 5,000 or 10,000 words, and give them detailed feedback on their writing. If you're a writer, you could also seek that out from someone else. I'm sure there are websites where you can do that. It's like getting that mentoring, getting that wisdom from someone else, or offering it to someone else if you are the person who is more experienced. So that's the Hermit. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune, and here it's called Koleso, so just the wheel, Kološtěstí, and the wheel. So twice it's just called the wheel. And the Wheel of Fortune, it's all about luck. It's all about a change in fate. So playing games with friends and family, like who are also in your house, or, you know, people online that have an element of luck to them, or even playing them by yourself, like, you know, card games and stuff that you can play by yourself, where you're not, where it's not focused on skill, where it's focused on luck. So I'm not advocating that you gamble. I wouldn't want anyone to lose money or get addicted to something because of my advice. But what I'm saying is find some games online that you can play or that are already installed in your computer where it's just leaving it up to luck and maybe a little bit of skill and knowledge, because that can be very refreshing. Sometimes not having to know how to do something, not having to have any prior knowledge or skill, etc., can be very fun and exciting to just play a game that is left completely up to chance. And that's what I love about the wheel, this sudden shift of fortune. Also makes me think of the Wheel of the Year. So making plans for upcoming celebrations. You know, what I really don't want people to do in this time is to put their entire lives on hold. I think you can still plan to have certain celebrations and things. Maybe make two different plans, like make a plan if you're able to have a bigger celebration like a party or something, and then make a plan of what you could do if you will be staying at home or if numbers of people will be limited, or your option for the venue will be limited. So plan things differently, like have your main plan, have your contingency plan, and get excited about both of them, you know. Really don't make the contingency plan like a booby prize where you're going to be sad if you have to do that. Really put the same amount of thought and effort into it as you would have done for the first plan. You know, we've got Easter coming up, so think of fun things that you could do for Easter, for example. Whatever it is that you like to celebrate during the course of the year, make these plans, make these fun things, maybe order in some decorations, some Easter decorations. I bought 4 little eggs that hang up the other day, and I'm gonna use those in a pick a card when we get a little bit closer to Easter. So just doing things that give change in your life. The wheel is all about change. So, change around the furniture in your room if you want to. If you're sick of looking at that sofa, move it to a different part of the room. Move that wardrobe or whatever, just to bring in some change, some different energy. Decorate your house differently. Like I said, get in a few little bits that can just change the atmosphere of the room. Maybe order in some scented candles or something, those air freshener things that just sit in the room, and every now and then they release like a scent. It's like that kind of just doing something to change up the way you're living a little bit. So our next card is Strength. So Sila, Strength. So what I would say here is with working out, obviously strength in general is more of a card of emotional strength, and I'm sure a lot of us are building up that right now, but strength is also about the physical. So doing some workouts if you can, like I said earlier about doing press-ups and other things. There's a surprising amount of workout that you can do without actually having to go to a gym. And you can do, if you have a corridor or something that's quite long and fairly unimpeded, you could do running and then just turn around as soon as you get to the end and run to the other end. It sounds tedious, but it's anything to keep yourself strong. Make sure that you're eating well. If you have vitamins, make sure you're taking those. Make sure you're taking all your medication that you need. That's very important as well. Make sure you have all your medication and contraception, etc. stocked up and available to you. And strength is just about increasing your strength. So if you don't have any weights in the house, maybe consider like lifting up one end of the sofa or something. Like just find something heavy that you can safely lift up and put back down again, and just things like this. It's very important to keep your body engaged as well as your mind, because if you're just flooding your mind with information like from books, from movies, from the news, etc., but you're not doing anything with your body, that can be it can have like a negative effect, I would say. It's like you're not fully getting the full health that your body needs every day. It's not just about keeping your mind healthy. So staying strong. Also, I would say looking at inspirational quotes online. If you can find, there are probably some social media pages that post inspirational quotes quite often, and that will just change your timeline, your feed, into something much more positive and a lot less of a catastrophe. It's very important that you surround yourself with the right kind of energy. Then we have the Hanged Man, Viselnik, Viselets, and here it's called Awakening. So obviously the Hanged Man is hanging from his foot, not by his neck. It's because he's trying to get a different perspective on a situation, on the world. He wants to see the world differently. And to do that, he hangs upside down. So this is about, like I said, gaining new perspectives. I would say it would be very interesting if, rather than just reading the news, you read articles by people who have very different lifestyles and backgrounds to you, and you read about what their life has been like, because that will really enrich your understanding of the human race in general, and also increase your compassion, because I feel like spiritually, if we say that everything has a reason, I feel like one of the biggest lessons that we're meant to learn from this is to have compassion. for other people, like I was saying earlier with the Hermit card. And this Hanged Man, obviously it's about things being put on hold, plans being put on hold, etc. But it's necessary to do that in order to achieve this deeper understanding. What I also get with the Awakening or Hanged Man card is like, it's got a kind of gymnastic feeling about it to me. So flexibility I'm feeling, because it's about having that flexible mind that's open to new ideas, but it's also about the body being completely different to how it normally is. So if you want to practice things that make your body more flexible, like if you've always wanted to learn how to do the splits, for example, you could try doing that in a safe way. Again, I'm sure there are lots of tutorials online as to how to do that. Also things like self-defense possibly, which I probably should have mentioned in the strength card. You could learn some moves for that online. And yeah, this is also about keeping in touch with others and hearing how it's going for them, hearing their perspective, and feeling blessed for what you have as well. That's what the Hangman is about. Make notes about what you're blessed with every single day. Give thanks for what you already have and be open to receiving new things. So then we have the Death card. So Smert is death. Transformacja, so here it's called transformation, and release is what it's called here. So the Death card is all about transformation. It's about letting go of the old and welcoming in the new, because what this card teaches us is that if we are hanging on to old energies that no longer serve us, what they're doing is that they're just draining our energy, and they're taking up space where something else could be, something much more positive and productive. So what I say with the Death card, this is about getting rid of things that you have that you no longer need. So bagging up old clothes or things in your house that are just taking up space, because I'm sure you will notice them a lot more now than you normally would. And maybe it's something that you've known for a long time that you should get rid of. Like maybe every time you walk through the hall, you're like, oh, I must throw out that thing, or I must give that thing, like donate it to a charity shop. And you keep forgetting to, because you're always in a rush and you're always thinking of other things. But this is your chance to get rid of those things, to welcome in new things into your life. And of course, this is also about getting rid of people who are not serving your highest good, relationships that you've outgrown, not just in a romantic way, but with friendships and family as well. This is about saying goodbye to the old life and looking forward to what awaits you in the future, looking forward to what's new. Also releasing worries. It's about healing as well, so healing from old trauma, old wounds. I would say also accessing a counsellor or therapist if you need to do that, finding them online, and they would be able to help you in this transition period as you get rid of things and welcome in new things. And now we have Temperance. So here it's umiernost, trpělivost, balance it's called here. So the Balance card, the Temperance card, is all about coming away from extremes and moving into balance again, finding that center point. So what I would say here is having a detox, and that could be cutting certain things out of your diet. It could be having a digital detox, so making sure that you have plenty of time each day away from screens, or you're telling yourself, okay, I'm not going to check the news today, or you're saying, right, I will check the news 3 times today, and if I check it more than that, like I can't check it more than that, so even if I check it 3 times in the morning, that's it, I can't check it for the rest of the day. Or if you say to yourself, right, I'm going to log on to social media, or I'm going to log on and check on the news at these specific times each day, just so that it is not constantly on your mind. It's very much this detox and releasing worries, releasing negative energies and toxins, finding that compromise. It's very much just about staying away from extremes and coming back into the middle, into the center. It's also about waiting for perfect timing on something. So just waiting for everything to work out in the right time. So moving away from extremes, also moving away from people that have extreme opinions or views. That's what I get with the Temperance card. Then we have number 15, the Devil card. So here it's called Diavol. Here it's called Pokušení, which is temptation. And here it's called Ego. So again, there are lots of different names for this card in my decks. So the Devil card is all about things that we obsess over, things that we are addicted to. So I would suggest trying to work on those things. If, for example, you always bite your nails, or you're a smoker, or you spend too much money, like whenever you get your pay packet, you just blow it all on something, clothes or luxuries or whatever. Or if you're a gambler, etc., if you drink too much alcohol, then it's healthy. This is about really trying to move away from that, because then you're going to feel so much better, because you're not going to have this negative drain on your energy. And it's interesting here actually that both of these have like a pot of gold. That's interesting. So it could be about money worries, and you just need to move away from that, or possibly find ways of getting money from working from home. The Devil is also about being obsessed with other people. And you know, the Devil is not always a negative card. Like, the Devil is about being very determined, because it's Capricorn's card. So going out and getting what we want, often in a business sense, like a corporate sense. It's Capricorn is the corporate sign. So this is also about looking towards what you want to achieve in life. What are your real ambitions, and what is standing in your way? So taking stock of your life as it is. Sit down, find that quiet space, don't let anyone else distract you. Put on some nice studying music in the background if you want to, and get out a notepad or open up your computer or whatever, and start writing down what you want from your life. So you can separate it into different groups if you want to, like career, health, family and friends, relationships, travel, home life, etc., hobbies and skills, and write what you want to achieve. And you can put a timeline on it if you want to, like say in a year's time I want to be here, in 5 years, 10 years time, etc. Make that plan, and then identify how you can achieve these things and stick to it. You might want to look into making something that I do called staircase goals. If you look online, just type in staircase or stairs or something, and find on an image search a picture of some stairs, okay, and just put them on a Word page or a PowerPoint page or whatever. Make it stretch so it takes up the whole space, or a very big space that you can see, that you can really get immersed into. And then on each step, write steps towards your goal. So your goal is the top of the staircase. That's, you need to put pictures or a word or whatever there to symbolize you achieving that. Then on each step, write a section of your goal. And it will be easier to do this if it's chronological, so you can't complete the third step if you haven't completed steps 1 and 2, if you see what I mean. Then when you've done that, picture yourself walking up to the staircase and looking up at it, looking up at all the steps, looking up at the goal at the top. And then every day, look at it. And when you've achieved your first step, highlight that bottom step, what you've written there, the text box that you've put there, highlight it in a different color. So if you've written it all in black, highlight it in green or red or whatever, white maybe, gold. And then imagine yourself walking up to the staircase and then standing on that first step and looking up at what's left. And keep doing that. Keep going up the staircase as you achieve your goals all the time. And yeah, it's just, eventually when you get to the top, you'll feel amazing. And so I just really want to share that with you. It's something that I found and find really helpful when I've got a goal in mind. I am a Capricorn sun. So, you know, I'm very ambitious. I always have a 5-year plan and lots of goals, etc., short term and long term. So that might be something that helps you. So then we've got number 16, which is the tower. So bashня, wież. And then here it's called life experience. So this is often a very dramatic card. Like you see this rickety tower that's just been like crushed by this boulder, and this little gnome is falling out in panic, like, ah. And what this card says to me is doing DIY in the house. Like if there's something broken in the house, or something that's like not quite right, like your shelf is a little bit wonky, or you've got like cardboard underneath one of your chair legs because it's not quite the same as all the other legs. This is talking about trying to fix that. So doing what you can to try and fix the broken things in your house so that they are so much better and easier to use. Also, I would say cleaning, to be honest. Like if you've got the oven of doom, which is completely dirty and, you know, covered in grime, and like, you know what happens when you're cooking something in the oven and something just gets burned onto the oven floor or onto one of the, what are they called? Onto one of the bars on the oven, and it's just awful. Time to roll up your sleeves and get it done. That's what this is saying. Home improvements. So fixing things, maybe sticking up some posters or something, sticking up things that, like, again, house decorations, but just in general, fixing things, making them better so that you have a happier environment to live in, and so that it's not going to happen again. Most importantly, if you have, for example, a handle that keeps coming off a door or a cupboard, please fix it so that it stays like that. You don't want it to keep coming off and ruining things for you. And the tower is also just about change, big changes in life, significant events that are coming up in life. So again, not letting go of your plans for the future, and not standing in the way of change either. So not being stubborn, planning things and having that contingency plan as well, like I said, but this is so important, this is the most important part, having the contingency plan, the stay-at-home plan, but making yourself as excited about that plan as you are about the other. So much so that if you actually got to do the main plan where it's a party or a big outside event, etc., you would actually be a bit sad that you weren't able to do your contingency plan, you know? Also, there's nothing to say that you can't postpone these things. If you have certain plans, you can still do it again next year. This won't last forever. So now we have number 17, the star. This is hvězdy, so stars, plural, hvězda, and the star. So the star is this beautiful, happy card. It's about not losing hope, having faith and excitement. The star, it just makes me think of joy. So I would say sing, do karaoke. I had this really weird dream the other night where I was calling my friend on Skype and we both pressed play on like a YouTube video at the same time and just sang along to it on Skype. It was so strange, but it actually was quite fun. So maybe do that, Skype karaoke, or just do it yourself, you know, just sing songs that make you happy. That will really lift your spirits. The star is about lifting your spirits. Make wishes, have hopes, pray, wish upon a star, you know, do these things that are making you anticipate the future and really looking forward to that. You know, write down important dates in your diary and get excited for them. one thing that really has a negative effect on my own mood is when I don't have things to look forward to. When I'm not looking at the future. I did see a meme once on Facebook that said, like, the key to happiness is always having a holiday planned. And it's kind of like that, like always having something to look forward to. Making sure that you have something each day that's different to look forward to, whether it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to have this nice thing to eat today, or I'm going to watch this movie that I've really wanted to watch today. That's that feeling. Also, yeah, like, this is just doing things that make you happy. Also, it talks about astrology because it's about the stars. So if you've always wanted to learn astrology, maybe now's your time to look into that. Or if you only have a kind of surface knowledge of that kind of thing, like astrology or even Chinese astrology, then look into it now. Now is the perfect time to learn this kind of thing. Also, it's the star, so keeping up to date with celebrity news still. I mean, I'm sure there is still going to be celebrity news. Follow your favourite celebrities, see what they're doing, just to remind yourself that you're not alone in this. You know, get active on social media with other people who are interested in the same things as you. It's really important that you do that. Beautiful, lovely star card. And again, being happy for what you're already blessed with, writing that down every day or saying it out loud. That's a really loud siren outside. I'm really sorry if you can hear that really loud. It's police, I think. Yeah, so just writing down what you're happy for, grateful for, etc. And now we have the moon. So Luna, Měsíc, and the moons. They all have the same name here. And the moon is about everything that's hidden, everything that is not open in everyday life. You know, the things that we don't show other people, the things that we ourselves are not necessarily aware of. It can be about our dreams, our worries, fears, insecurities, our innermost thoughts. It's also about spirituality again. So if you want to start a dream diary, then consider doing that. This is also about your actual, like, your dreams as in your ambitions. So the things that you really want to happen. Again, we've talked about what you can do to bring that about. The moon, to me, this is also about just kind of like organizing and bringing order to your inner self. You know, you're organizing your mind a lot and your feelings. So start a diary if you don't have one already. Just write down what you're feeling, what you've done that day, etc. And keep a track on that. You can also do a mood tracker, which is something that I've done in the past. You can find that on Pinterest if you type in mood tracker. It's where people draw a picture, all kinds of different things. Like, people get really, really creative with it. And then there's something on the picture that represents a day in the month for every day. So, for example, it could just be lots of different planets in the sky, and each one represents a day of the month. So there's 30 or 31, etc. Or it could be a room, and each little thing in the room represents a day of the month, and then you colour it in when you've had that day to show how you are feeling on that day. And then at the end of the month you can look back and kind of track your mood, and I think that's important as well. Also, I would say with the moon is talking through how you're feeling, like not keeping things bottled up. So we've talked again about accessing therapists or counselors if you can, but this is about having phone calls with people, you know, actually talking to people, messaging people, making sure that they know how you're feeling and that you can talk through those feelings, and also hear what other people have to say. You know, sometimes all you need to save you from a crisis is just a calm voice with the right word at the right time. Sometimes that is just incredibly powerful, and it's more powerful than even seeing things happen, like actions. Sometimes the right word at the right time from someone who is very reassuring can be so, so important. So that's what the moon is all about. Then we have number 19, the sun. So Solnse, Slunse, the sun. So they all have the same names in my decks here. And the sun is the opposite to the moon. It's all about that which is visible. It's about the truth. It's about everything that, that we portray to other people in real life. What people know about us, what people can see about us. It's about happiness and joy and confidence and good luck. So the sun again is about enjoying yourself. It's also about victory. So playing games where you do need skill, playing games like board games or card games or online games, video games where you need skill to win, and then you can feel really proud of yourself when you do. It's also about making sure that you are getting some sunshine. Sit by a window, have the window open, breathe in the fresh air, have the sun on your skin. Just bringing that into your life will really change how you feel. Making sure that you open the curtains every day, and definitely get fresh air into the room. Just don't shut yourself off. If you're lucky enough to have a garden or a balcony, then do consider sitting outside for a little time, just to get the fresh air into your lungs and to allow the sun to shine on you, because that is very important for your health. The vitamins that you get from the sun is very, very important for your health. And yeah, the sun is about happiness. So I would say watching comedy programs. Don't watch serious things that will just bring your mood down. Watch comedy shows. The sun can also be about little children. So again, like watching cartoons and stuff, doing things with children. Really getting into having a good laugh. Reading books that are funny, etc. Flicking through memes online that aren't related to this situation, just finding that happy spirit within you through joy and laughter, making sure that you actually laugh out loud, because that is so healing. And then we have judgment. So Strashny Sud, it's called here, which is the final judgment. Volani, which is calling, and renewal here. So they have very different names across my cards. Renewal is about resurrecting things from the past. You see here, the angel is calling the dead to come into the afterlife. So if there's something that you used to try before, a hobby that you used to have, an interest that you used to have, and you gave it up for whatever reason, maybe it was too hard or circumstances kept you from continuing with it, try it again. Really think about what you used to do that you enjoyed doing before, and try that again, or try similar things. Watch old shows from your childhood or from even before you were born, like those comedy classics, etc. Really old movies, movies you loved as a kid, rewatch them and experience that joy again. It's also about getting in touch with people who you've lost contact with. So think about old friends who you would like to speak to again, and consider reaching out to them. It's also about actually being called, like having a phone call. So again, like I was saying, keeping in touch with people that way. Beautiful card. Really beautiful. And then our final card today is the World card. Mir, Sviet, the World. They have the same name throughout these decks. And the World is such a beautiful, beautiful card. It's one of my favorites. And what the World card is all about is about, humanity as a whole. So this would represent learning a new language, if that's something you're interested in, or learning more about geography perhaps, or it doesn't have to be a new language, but you could increase your skill in a language that you already learned a little bit. Maybe that might be following on from the Judgment card, where we're resurrecting old things. If you learned a language in school, or if you were learning a language a few years ago but you dropped it because of time, or because you weren't progressing as fast as you wanted to, now is the time to find a teacher or to join an online community to learn this language, etc. That's what the world is all about. It's also about travel. And I think this is also important. Like, don't put your future on hold. Think about where you would like to travel to in the future and make plans for that. You don't have to book anything, obviously, but you can make detailed plans about when would be best for you to go, what you would like to see in this other part of the world, etc. Really thinking about that kind of thing, and also finding your community, reaching out online and finding the people who enjoy the same things as you do. That's what the world is all about. It's about recognizing that we are a part of this beautiful whole, and that the world is actually a lot smaller than many of us would think. It's also about going up a level in something. So if you recently got certification for something, or for example you got, like, I don't know, piano level whatever, don't stop there. Keep going. If you've achieved something, keep going. There's no reason to stop or put your plans on hold indefinitely. Keep planning things, keep trying to do things, and that's what the Beautiful World card tells us. It says that we've come full circle and it's now time to move up, because we've learned things, we've reached that stage of knowledge and enlightenment, and it's time to move forward again now. So that was all of the Major Arcana cards. I hope it gave you some ideas as to what you could do if you're stuck at home more than usual. I hope it wasn't too repetitive, because obviously there are a lot of cards to do with spirituality in the tarot. Okay, I just heard jigsaw, so I don't know where that came from. If you've never tried a jigsaw before, maybe buy one, I don't know. Or if you've got one hidden away in a cupboard somewhere, maybe drag it out and give it a go. That was so random. So yeah, jigsaw. Yeah, I really hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for everyone who voted on the poll. And yes, I hope this gives you some ideas, and that you can get doing something that you maybe hadn't thought of already, or that you didn't feel like you should do, but you know, you've now got confirmation from the universe, if you've watched this video, that you should be giving it a go. Everyone go out and buy a jigsaw. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Please do keep in touch in the comments section. This is one of those communities that you can reach out to and talk to people. Yeah, hopefully this was helpful. So if you want to book a private reading with me, please go to the link in the description box where my Etsy page is. If you want to become a patron and help me out to buy new decks, dice, props, charms, etc., then consider checking out my Patreon page. There's lots of fun rewards over there, such as being entered into a monthly prize draw to win a reading with me. And there is also a PayPal link in the description box if you don't want to be a patron but you want to help me out anyway, and just send me a small tip or whatever you want to send to the channel, and everything I get there will be put back into the channel, like I said, with decks and props, etc. Alright, so I really hope you enjoyed this. It's given you some ideas, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.